Welcome back to Simply Fujica, a place for budding and aspiring entrepreneurs. I do want to welcome you to another week here at the channel. And if you're new to this channel, I definitely want to thank you for stopping on by. Guys, if this is the second, first, third, fifth time you've stopped by, please don't hesitate to like the video. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Please don't hesitate to hit that bell notification so that you're notified every time I release a new video. Guys, we're in the process of growing this channel. We're on our way to 10,000 subscribers, and so please share this information. I'm hearing from a lot of you that this is great information and you're really enjoying the content, so don't be afraid to share it with others. So before we get started, I do want to share with you two exciting items that I have for you, which is my next webinar, which is May 20th. That is going to be a step-by-step guide on how to pursue your non-medical home care agency. This is not specific to California. Regardless of what state you're in, should benefit from this webinar. And then secondly, I am launching for the first time my Home Care Academy. I'm so excited for that. That one is live in October in Sacramento. So links for both will be in the video description. Make sure that you take a look at those. Make sure you sign up and register for those events. And listen, for those of you who would love to be there but really can't afford to do it, please make sure you keep tuning into the videos and supporting the channel by watching the videos and liking them. I appreciate the fact that you are here to help support the channel, so thank you so much for that. In today's video, we're talking about 5 tips to cultivate a safe environment between your home care aides and your client's home. So if that's something that you're interested in, and I hope it is, then stay tuned. So the first tip that I have for you is your home care aide should really know the emergency plan for your clients. Now, a lot of times you are coming up with this emergency plan based on your client's needs, and they actually may already have one in play, and so you're either duplicating that one or you're creating one when you're signing that person up for care. As soon as you know who your caretaker is for that client or who you're assigning to that client, that caretaker has to be in the know of what that emergency plan is. Of course, this is something we don't like to talk about, and we hope there is never an emergency. However, you have to set both your caretaker and client up for success by making sure that they know all of the ins and outs of the emergency plans, just in case any emergency event were to take place. So what if there's a power outage? What if, God forbid, you actually do need to call 911? If there's an earthquake, what if there's a fire in the home or you have to evacuate the home? What should be those steps? Where is it documented? So where is that evacuation plan? Where is that emergency plan held? So you want to make sure that not only does your home care aide know where it's located, but that you actually go through it with that home care aide and make sure that you give them an opportunity to ask any questions that they may have. Because remember, if they are alone with that client, an emergency happens, it is them that has to implement the steps that's contained within that plan. So you want to make sure they feel comfortable in carrying out what's relayed in that plan. The second tip that I have for you is know the client's emergency contacts. We don't want to assume who's on the emergency contact list. And this is really something that the client should be informing us. If a true emergency were to happen and that client is unable to speak for themselves, who do they wish that we contact in the event that there's emergency? This is something that should be filled out, and it should be talked about again at the time that they become clients of ours. So again, anyone who is on your team that is assigned to care for the client, they should be in the know of who's actually on that client emergency contact list. What I like to caveat here is do not forget about the actual doctor, the primary care doctor, because if there is a 911 situation, that patient is actually being carried off by the ambulance, you may want to contact that primary care doctor in terms of next steps or any next steps that could be associated with that client's care. So you want to make sure that whoever needs to know is actually aware of the emergency, and only those that the client has specified understands what's happening with that client at that time. The third tip that I have for you, and guys, this is super important, is you should be conducting a skills assessment. Now, I will say this. Listen, now I will start by saying this. In the state of California, we do know that there has to be 5 hours of entry level training. And this is before your home care aide is actually allowed to take care of a client. A portion of that training, in my opinion, should really be conducting a skills assessment. And the person that's conducting that skills assessment is you, if you provide care, or potentially an RN or LVN that you have on your roster or that you have contracted through your agency. The reason why I say that this is important is because I think we all have either experienced, or I know personally we have experienced for finding care for our mother-in-law. People will come in and they say they can do all types of things. And then when it's time for them to actually perform a task or do a certain task, they have no clue or they don't do it properly. And so you just want to make sure that this is not something that's happening in your home care agency, that people are actually trained and know how to do all the things that you're telling your client that you're able to do for them. So a good way of making sure that you're pulling out that measuring stick, if you will, is to perform a client assessment test. So how do you transfer a client? How do you properly lift a client? What does this look like? Talk us through it. Walk us through this scenario. That's the best way that you can understand if the person actually carries a skill that they say they have experience in. The fourth tip that I have for you today is wherever a person is spending the majority of their time, you want to make sure that it is fall, trip, or slip proof. Okay? So I know, for instance, most of the time, the majority of where we're caring for our clients is in their bedroom or in some type of living room. And so you want to make sure there aren't toys, objects all over the place, so that as you're moving this person, or if this person is able to walk themselves to wherever they're going to be for the majority of the day, that they're not falling or tripping on the way. Remember, we want to make sure that people aren't injuring themselves while they're in our care. It's the same thing as if a person's getting ready to take a shower. You know, should there be a shower rug that's on the floor before they step into the shower? Is there a shower mat that should be there? You know, you want to go ahead of that person to ensure those types of things are set up for that client before they actually come into the bathroom. It is part of our responsibility to ensure that that person is set up to ensure that they're safe and that they are not injuring themselves, especially while we're there to provide care for them. Okay, so the fifth and final tip that I have for you is choking hazards. So remember, as we get older, as our clients get older, we kind of take for granted that a lot of the eating, a lot of the things that we do to eat and digest our food involve muscles. And so as we get older, those muscles weaken. And so you want to make sure that when you're preparing and serving someone's food, even if you're not feeding them, that you've cut it up enough to where they can take small digestible bites. You definitely don't want to make sure, that a person has, you're cutting down on the opportunity that they have to actually choke on the food that you've prepared for them. It's very important to ensure that the person feels comfortable with what they're eating. In this same vein, and I'm actually going to count this as a bonus tip, is allergies. This is something that I talked about in a previous video, even though the video is eluding me right now, and I think I also did a YouTube short on this. So if I find that information, I will definitely put it in the resources part of the video description. But we want to make sure, and this should be part of our client intake forms, is understanding what our clients' allergies are. And so, clients can be, definitely, you want to make sure that we're exercising the best judgment for a client. I have heard people say, I'm allergic to a certain food product, but I just love it so much. Okay, remember, we got to put our owner hats on and we got to put our caretaker hats on. We cannot allow or feed someone something that we know they're allergic to. because even if they've eaten it 10,000 times before, it just takes that this time in order for them to have an allergic reaction while they're in our care, and we don't want that to happen. So we want to make sure that we are aware of any known allergies, and whoever that caretaker is or whoever's part of that team that we have in their home is aware of any allergies that they may have, and of course that we don't prepare anything with anything that they're allergic to, and we don't serve them anything that they're allergic to. And then back to my 5th tip, that we have cut down and broken down everything into bite-sizable, nice chewable sizes to reduce the chances of choking. Okay, so that was a mouthful. So what do you guys think? Did I leave anything out? Make sure you put comments in the section below. I would love to hear what kind of safety hazards have you implemented at your home care agencies, or if you're a home care aide, what are some of the safety precautions in play at the home care agency that you work at to ensure that we're taking care of our clients? I would love to hear from you. Guys, that's all that I have for this video. If you haven't already, do not forget to like this video. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel, and do not forget to hit that bell notification so that you're notified every time I drop a new video. Guys, that's all I have for you today. Stay blessed.